It may not surprise you to learn that I am not the biggest fan of sports movies, but even still, I have to acknowledge that Moneyball is a fantastic movie. Most sports movies are historical. They tell events that already happened, and because of this, they suffer from the same problem that a lot of historical movies suffer from. The outcome of any conflicts in the plot is predetermined, and that poses a serious problem to making an entertaining movie. How do you keep the audience locked in when they already know what's going to happen? Moneyball solves this problem by recentering the tension away from the plot and placing it on the characters. The movie basically says to the viewer, yeah, sure, you know this new way of playing baseball will eventually work, but why is that important to the people in this movie? To me, that's the fundamental question when I watch a sports movie. Why is the outcome of the plot important to the people in this movie? And the approach that a sports movie takes to answering this question pretty well dictates how good the movie is going to be. Let's put a pin in Moneyball for a second and talk about Air. Air seems like the kind of story that would best be told in a documentary, because when you watch a documentary, you watch it to learn facts. You want someone to tell you the history of a known outcome. And the historical context and facts surrounding the plot of Air are really interesting. Like, it was fascinating to learn about how Nike, as a guerrilla marketing strategy, purposely committed to paying fines to the NBA for violating their policies on shoe design. It was super interesting to hear about how Nike was competing with Converse and Adidas to win Michael Jordan's business, because I had never known about those things before. Learning those facts was really interesting, and I think a documentary about this would have been fascinating. But I think what makes a good documentary does not necessarily translate into making a good movie. When I sit down to watch a movie, I kind of expect you to tell me a story about characters, and the characters in Air felt completely disconnected from the plot. The movie tries its hardest to keep piling on stakes to the plot side of the equation without taking the time to add any weight on the character motivation side. Yeah, I get that if Sonny doesn't close this deal with the Jordans, he's going to lose his job, and he's going to waste a lot of Nike's money, and when he does inevitably close the deal, like I know he's going to, it's going to launch an extremely successful shoe line, it's going to make Nike a bunch of money. But what does any of that do for this guy? I get what all that does for the external world. What happens to Sonny Vaccaro's internal world if things go one way or the other? When Billy Beane sets out to find a different way to play baseball, it's not exactly clear from the outset why he's doing it, but as the movie unfolds, it intersperses the present-day storyline with Billy's own history of playing baseball, and it becomes clear why he's doing it. He's angry at a system that he feels lied to him, told him he would be something great based on absolute bullshit. The fact that he turns down a scholarship to Stanford is a brutal twist of the knife. He gives up a great education, the possibility of success in fields other than baseball, on the promise that he is a once-in-a-generation prospect. But, as he soon finds out, that promise is totally illusory. The people gassing him up have no idea what they're doing, and that lights a fire in him to prove that the old way of doing baseball isn't the best way.
This is about you and your shit, isn't it? 20 years ago, some scout got it wrong.
Whoa. Okay.
Now you're going to declare war on the whole system.
Okay, my turn. You don't have a crystal ball. You can't look at a kid and predict his future, any more than I can. I've sat at those kitchen tables with you and listened to you tell those parents, when I know, I know. And when it comes to your son, I know. And you don't. You don't.
Meanwhile, Air keeps trying to pile more and more logs on the bonfire of plot stakes. As the movie goes on, you learn that this guy only wants to keep his job at Nike because his daughter only loves him because he brings home a lot of shoes for her. There's a segment at the end of this movie where Sonny can only close the deal with the Jordans if he gives Michael Jordan a cut of the revenue from the shoes, and he's like, well, gee, that's just not gonna happen. And then Dolores Jordan is like, well, then the deal's off. And I'm like, there's only 10 minutes left in this movie, and I know you're gonna close this deal. Why are we playing this stupid game? And then Sonny goes and talks to Phil, and he's like, the only way we can close the deal is to give Michael a cut, but there's no way you'll ever approve that. And then Phil thinks about it for 10 seconds, and he's like, yeah, okay, we can do that. And then everyone in the office goes, yippee, we did it.
We just signed Michael Jordan!
It's certainly an ending, but as far as endings go, it's less than meaningful. Even at the end of what is unquestionably a massive success, Billy's anger is still clearly burning. The movie has the balls to not even show you when his method actually wins a World Series, just leaving you at the point that success has once again slipped through Billy's fingers. When the credits roll, Billy is still bitter about the wrongs of his past, and even Pete's speech about Billy not realizing he's hit a home run is clearly not enough to snuff out that anger. Billy has proven some things to himself, but he still has miles to go. When Air wraps up, Sonny is the same person that he was at the beginning. He's richer, he's more successful, but nothing inside him has changed or even been revealed to us. I get that I'm probably sounding extremely pretentious with this, like it's a movie about shoes and I'm out here like, yeah, but what kind of impact is this gonna have on his soul? But to me, setting up deeper personal ties to the stakes of the plot is what separates the great movies like Moneyball from the forgettable ones like Air.
Do you men think about basketball shoes often? Basketball shoes are the central preoccupation of my life.
So this guy definitely fucked these shoes, right?